CM Punk kicked off tonight's Raw, the first since a blockbuster Saturday night's main event, ready to address Seth freaking Rollins' comments about him from last week's show. The latest appearance from the straight edge superstar headlined a broadcast that also saw the Intercontinental and World Tag Team Championships up for grabs, and the latest in the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. What went down? Who built momentum as 2024 nears its close? And what did it mean for the top feuds and rivalries in WWE? Find out with this recap of tonight's Raw, emanating from the legendary TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, for This Is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting perhaps the presence of the phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him with us Wednesday night as part of a special football Wednesday show that we are going to have. And I will explain that at the end of the show in our future content. Monday Night Raw, live tonight from the aforementioned TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, the home of the 2024 NBA champion Boston Celtics, as well as the Boston Bruins. And we didn't waste any time. We started it off with CM Punk. A thunderous reaction from fans in Boston greeted CM Punk as he hit the ring at the top of tonight's show. The best in the world addressed Seth freaking Rollins early and often, taking shots at the Visionary in an attempt to draw him out and into the arena. It worked eventually as Rollins appeared in the audience and returned verbal fire. The result was a chaotic brawl around the arena that ended only when referees, producers, and security separated the competitors. The feud between the two has been steadily ramping up, not in preparation for a WrestleMania showdown or even a Royal Rumble battle, but rather the first episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix in 3 weeks. There is no way to sustain this kind of heat all the way to February 1 or beyond. Maybe the two clash on the Rumble or WrestleMania stage, but this is a big money matchup with plenty of intrigue to help drive viewers to that first broadcast on the new streaming home of Raw. The content of the promo had enough buzzwords to draw oohs and ahs from the audience, and the brawl was spectacularly shot and executed. A great opening segment that makes Punk versus Rollins as hot as any program in the company right now. CM Punk said, just because you grew up idolizing me, putting on a pair of wrestling boots does not make you CM Punk. He also said there are not enough staples in the world to put you back together again. And Punk also said, you belong in the audience with the rest of the CM Punk fans. And Rollins said, this fan, he's got more WrestleMania main events than you ever will. That's a fact, Phil, Rollins said, instigating a brawl between the two superstars. And later in the night, it was made official by Raw General Manager Adam Pearce while in a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly. It is now official. Monday Night Raw on Netflix in 3 weeks, January the 6th, Intuit Dome, Los Angeles, in addition to Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa in that tribal combat match for the right to be called the Tribal Chief. Now you add CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah, this Raw right here, they're making this a PLE. This has the feel of a PLE. There is no doubt about this in my mind. And this right now looks like the biggest double main event that we could have right now. Roman and Solo in that tribal combat, and now you're adding Punk and Rollins to this. And later in the night, we had another segment that basically all but confirms another match that's going to be added to this. And once they make this match official, we're looking at a triple main event here. My God. there are no words. I don't know what else there is to say. So, great opening segment that, like I said, that makes Punk and Rollins as hot as any program in the company right now. So I'll go as far as to call this the segment of the night. So very well done. Get us to LA, get us to Intuit Dome now. And Netflix, all I can say is I hope and pray to God that we don't have any issues like we did with that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fiasco. That's all I'm going to say right now. So I don't know what else there is to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Oh, so that happened. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, another incredible segment here, another great segment here. This program, as hot as any program in the company right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to wait till Mania. Hell, we don't even have to wait till the Royal Rumble. January 6th on Netflix. Punk and Rollins, in addition to Roman and Solo. My God.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be wild. This is gonna be. I mean, this is gonna be amazing, and yeah, the excitement is there. Everybody can't wait, and I don't think there's really anything more to add. So yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, let's get into our first action of the night. As yeah, there was some backstage stuff, of course, leading into it. And all right, first of two championship matches here tonight. Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion Braun Breaker defending against Ludwig Kaiser, and the winner of the match, 18 minutes and 15 seconds, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. It is Braun Breaker. MF won a match.
Yeah, no, great matchup. At least 3.5 to damn near 4 stars. Um, the right outcome. Braun does definitely deserve to keep the title a little while longer. He's had an incredible 2024, y'all, and you could even say that he may be the breakout star of the year. No doubts in my mind. So I mean, with the way that this has been going for him, yeah, this has been an incredible year, and the reign continues. So, hell of a match. Tip your cap to Ludwig Kaiser for making it as really good as it was, but the outcome was never in doubt. Nothing more to say. Anthony Floyo, it is yours.
Yeah, a match like what we had here tonight is one of the reasons why this title is so prestigious, as you know. And this was another strong match between these two, who have repeatedly demonstrated above average in-ring chemistry in show-stealing matches. Breaker's selling here was phenomenal, and Kaiser continues to grow with every passing in-ring appearance. Breaker winning was the right call, but it is only a matter of time before Triple H and the creative team have to find a defining moment for Kaiser, who has exceeded expectations for him and proven himself a face of the company's future. Breaker took Kaiser over the announce table and immediately began nursing his left shoulder. It was a convincing sell, as it appeared that he may have legitimately been hurt. It was a quality sell job by Breaker, who has been working on that element of his in-ring performance. Kaiser and Breaker have chemistry far greater than anyone could have imagined before their series of main roster matchups. And then we had a backstage moment. The New Day. Rey Mysterio informed the New Day that no one wants them in the locker room after the way they treated Big E, and suggested they figure out somewhere else to change. So, yeah, the nuclear heat continues. So, not much more to say on that. And, okay, looks like we have a 2-for-1 deal here. And, just bear with me for a minute. All right. We had the women's world champion, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Dominic Mysterio. Liv cuts a promo, interrupted by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley informed Liv Morgan, per Adam Pearce, I am now the number one contender for your women's world championship. And in all honesty, in all honesty, I thought they were going to confirm the match right there. But they obviously teased it. It will get confirmed soon enough. I believe it. And then it led into the next match in the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. A triple threat match. Raquel Rodriguez versus Zoe Stark versus Kayden Carter. And the winner of the match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds, Zoe Stark. Whoa. Okay. All right. A lot to dissect here, but we got you guys. We got y'all. All right. Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Raquel Rodriguez made their way to the ring for a promo that was cut short by Rhea Ripley, who interrupted the proceedings and revealed that she is the number one contender for Liv Morgan and the Women's World Championship. The segment transitioned right into the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament triple threat match, pitting Raquel Rodriguez against Zoe Stark and Kayden Carter, with Zoe Stark winning the match via the Z360 on Kayden Carter. The finish was anything but smooth, but Stark winning was a nice surprise, and now sets her up to take on Dakota Kai in the semifinal round, which I am almost certain will be in 2 weeks on the final Monday Night Raw of the year on December 30th in Houston. The final Raw of the year, the final Raw on USA. And don't be surprised if they save the final for Netflix. And Liv Morgan used the bullhorn, a la Jimmy Hart. She used the bullhorn to taunt the crowd by calling herself the greatest women's world champion ever. That could be a fun introduction to her act if used right. And Ripley said, the only thing you'll be left with is your little chicken tender. Well, I'm not going to say it on air here.
Mm-hmm.
You 4-letter word. I think you get the gist on that.
Yeah, it was definitely not PG.
No. So I'll give the women's match a solid 3 stars. And Michael Bullock and I, we talk about this all the time when we have our chats, and we talked about it on this show here as well. The one thing that Triple H and his creative team have always been known for, as of late, has been unpredictability. Going into this match, you're thinking, oh, Raquel, easy. Nope. Zoe. And this is another thing about the Triple H regime, giving certain talents who don't get these opportunities. He's going all out to make sure that certain talent don't get lost in the shuffle. And we saw that in the women's US tournament when I think a lot of people were expecting it to be Bayley and Tiffany Stratton in the final. Instead, we got Chelsea Green and Michin, and Chelsea Green won the title, and you gave Michin a big opportunity. And now, so far, we have Dakota Kai moving on. We got Lyra Valkyria moving on. And now we got Zoe Stark moving on. And it also adds to the story and the feud between the Pure Fusion Collective and Damage Control, which shortly after the match was over, the Pure Fusion Collective attacked Kairi Sane and left her laying in the backstage area. So the feud, and this definitely adds fuel to the fire for the match that will likely go down in 2 weeks in Houston with Dakota Kai and Zoe Stark for the right to go to the finals, which you have to imagine is going to be on Netflix. So that's all I can say on that. So solid 3 stars for the effort. Surprise outcome. And this is why Triple H and the creative team get all this universal praise every single week, every single show, because of giving, certain talent that we were like, oh, going to get lost in the shuffle. No, he's giving them opportunities. And this is why we love this regime so much. So awesomeness. So 3 stars for that. And well, MF, a lot to dissect here. Rhea Ripley, now the number 1 contender for the Women's World Championship. I think we can add that to Netflix as well.
Yeah.
And Zoe Stark, huge win for her as she defeats Raquel Rodriguez and one of your favorites, Kayden Carter, 9:25.
Yeah, and the thing is that as far as it goes, it definitely doesn't hurt. I think a lot of people felt like Caden and they felt like maybe this would have been Raquel's moment, but Raquel just got back. Zoe's been there for a little while. So am I mad that Zoe got it? No. Well, it was a fine match. It was about maybe a 2.5 to 3 star bout. I'm not gonna say it was anything that blew the doors off, but it was fine for what it was worth. As far as the Rhea Ripley goes, this was no big surprise. I think we all expected this to happen. Now we're getting it. So yeah, I think by us basically saying, "Oh, I think this is gonna happen on Netflix." Yes, I'm not gonna. I don't think there's really much for us to talk here. I think Netflix is the right direction for that match. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Let's move on.
Roman and Solo, Punk and Rollins, Rhea and Liv. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're setting this up to be something of a mini WrestleMania,
Yes.
if you think about it. And not only that, but we're not even because who knows, we might even get some SmackDown talent infiltrating the Intuit Dome for this Monday Night Raw event. You don't know. We could see Cody Rhodes. We could see Kevin Owens. You don't know. So I mean, this might not be just confined just strictly to Raw for this first show. You don't know.
Yeah, and it's got a big 4 pay-per-view feel for sure. So, man alive, I just get us there now. That's all I can say. All right. And then from there, lot of backstage stuff, some campy comedy nonsense, American made, and it was announced that next week Chad Gable will go one-on-one with Akira Tozawa, as Chad Gable wants to put an end to the Alpha Academy, and with that being said, well, it's main event time already, believe it or not. World Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions, Finn Balor and JD McDonough, representing the Judgment Day, defending the titles against challengers and former tag team champions in their own right, NXT Tag Team Champions and Raw Tag Team Champions when they were known as the Viking Raiders, now known as, once again, the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. All members of the Judgment Day, barred from ringside per General Manager Adam Pearce. Winners of the match in 16 minutes and 15 seconds. And new World Tag Team Champions, Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders. Yes, they had a smidgen of help from Damian Priest as he prevented Finn Balor from using a steel chair. And Finn Balor got caught in the War Machine, and Raw Senior Referee Chad Patton counted the 1, 2, 3. And we have new World Tag Team Champions in the War Raiders. 16 minutes, 15 seconds, time of the fall. MF, a.k.a. Monsoon, hit me with those magic words if you would.
Yes, indeed. History was indeed made in Boston tonight. I won't call it unprecedented crowning because, yeah, Damian Priest did kind of got involved at the end, but we do have new tag team champions. We kind of called for this to happen, and we thought it was going to happen, and it did. The crowning of the new tag team champions, so that in itself is a big deal for us. Now we gotta see where it goes from here. And if you notice, Finn Balor the whole night was acting very snarky towards Liv and the guys, saying, "Well, why didn't you help me out in my World Heavyweight Championship fight?" And Liv was like, "Well, we felt like we thought that you were gonna, get it on your own, win it on your own right." And if you notice, the entire night of that Saturday night's main event, other than the minor interruption, the minor interjection from Piper Niven, the whole night Nobody got involved. They were all practically almost clean victories. Yes, you can say tainted victory by Cody Rhodes over Kevin Owens in that match, but every other match had a clean finish up to that point. So, look, say whatever you want to say. This was maybe Damian Priest's way of getting back at Finn Balor because Balor cost him the World Heavyweight title in his in his opportunity. Hey, it was good for the goose. It's good for the gander. I get it. I got no problem with that. I'm happy that the War Raiders are once again the tag team champions of the world. That is absolutely an awesome moment for me. These guys were criminally underutilized under the previous regime. Yes, injuries did derail them a little bit during that time. Either Eric got hurt or Ivar got hurt, and it kind of hurt their dynamic. But once again, they're healthy, they look great, and all of a sudden, boom, goes the Dynamite, and we're yelling war, 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 war for the new tag team champions of the world, the War Raiders. Anthony Florio, 3.5 to 4, it's yours.
I got so caught up in all the excitement of certain things that of certain events of tonight that I forgot to give my rating for the first match. That was the fight of the night. That was a good 4 to 4.25 stars for that for sure. This second best fight of the night, I'm gonna give it in excess of 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. And yeah, I mean, special moment indeed. And the match was quite good with some solid in-ring chemistry between the teams and a fun sequence or two down the stretch. The idea of Damian Priest and Finn Balor continuing their rivalry may not be appealing to those who think their rivalry has run its course, but its presentation here was fresh enough that it worked. The question now is whether Triple H can successfully book a pair of babyface world tag team champions for the long term, or if Eric and Ivar ultimately lose the titles to set up the chase. But Joe Tessitore put over Ivar as a New England native. I didn't even know that. Given the challenger's pursuit of the titles more gravity and backstory than anything that preceded it in the rivalry. And how does anyone survive a JD McDonough headbutt? Have you seen that thing? It's a cannonball on a neck. But nonetheless, another special moment in Boston, Massachusetts. We know WWE in Boston. We know the illustrious history of WWE in Boston. And almost every time they go to Boston, something magical happens, something special happens. And
they love that this is one of their cities, Anthony. We said it. Philly, New York, Toronto, Hartford, Providence, Boston. That's the core six. That was WWF territory. That was World Wrestling Federation territory. Anytime you're in one of those cities, something magical happens. How many times have we said about history being made in Providence? How many times have we said history being made in Philly? How many times have we said history being made in Madison Square Garden?
Too many to count.
How many times have we said history being made in Toronto? How many times have we said history being made in Boston? Again, it's WWE territory, man. Whenever you're in one of these cities, something happens. Something happens in one of these cities. And lo and behold, think about it. Big E's biggest moment when he became the World Heavyweight Champion was in Boston, Massachusetts.
That's right.
And tonight, another magical moment in TD Garden in the home of the NBA World Champions, Boston Celtics. We get the crowning of new World Tag Team Champions.
Yes, sir. And excuse me. But nonetheless, it ends the Judgment Day reign 175 days where they only defended the titles a total of 3 times. That's it. 3 times in 175 days as champions. Let's see what happens with the War Raiders now. So hopefully they'll be more fighting champions than Finn and JD were. So there you have it. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I was gonna give it a consideration for 4, but the minor distraction by Damian Priest bumps it down just a smidge. But to me, this was the second best fight of the night. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. So not much more to say on that. So overall review here, and I will give this in excess of 7.5 to 8 out of 10. From the red hot start to the show featuring CM Punk and Seth Rollins all the way through the main event, the hype for Raw's debut on Netflix in 3 weeks was off the charts. That debut episode is being promoted on the level of WWE's top premium live events, and the result will likely be one of the biggest, best, and more important episodes in the 31-year history of the flagship show. We already have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa announced for the show, and all of the storyline potential that goes along with them. And there is also the potential for Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship being added to go along with the numerous high-profile stars being teased for that show. Not everything was great tonight, but it was far more good than bad, with a recognizable endgame that is good enough for a more than positive rating. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 is my rating for this show. MF, your overall review, and then I'll get into my special Tony's take as I recap Final Resolution.
I'm going to go 8 out of 10. I think it was a very good show. I definitely agree with everything that you said, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it is yours.
Okay. Special Tony's take here. Of course, as we all know, we had the final TNA special event of 2024. Final Resolution, a mainstay in the early days of when TNA started doing pay-per-view events. The 13th event under this chronology. It took place this past Friday night from Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was exclusively on TNA Plus. We started with now I'm not going to do a full review here as I didn't get a chance to really see the show. I did see some highlights though via YouTube, and I'm just going to give you a quick recap here. We had a total of 10 matches overall, but the first 2 were on the pre-show. So 2 pre-show matches, 8 main card matches. We started it off with Johnny Dango Curtis representing the System. He went up against Leon Slater. Johnny Dango Curtis wins the match in 7 minutes and 6 seconds. And then in the other pre-show match, it was the king of the so-called the self-proclaimed king of TNA, and the winner and the possessor of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Trophy, Frankie Kazarian, squaring off against Jonathan Gresham. Frankie Kazarian wins the match in 9 minutes and 11 seconds. Now to the main card. First match on the main card. TNA X Division Championship on the line. The champion Moose defending against former champion in his own right, Kushida. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. And still the TNA X Division champion, it is Moose. 3-way tag team matchup. It was the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, versus Jake Something and Alexander Hammerstone, versus PCO and Sami Callihan. Winners of the match in 11 minutes and 2 seconds, it was the Rascals. Ace Austin squaring off against Trent Seven. Ace Austin wins the match in 12 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, these next 2 matches have big-time talking points coming out of them. First up, it was a knockouts match. Jordynne Grace squaring off against Rosemary. The match ends in a no contest after an even 10 minutes. A mysterious woman comes out. A masked woman hits the ring and attacks Jordynne Grace. The mystery woman unmasks. And who was under that mask? None other than the only female to ever hold the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. She is back. Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard is back in TNA wrestling. Man, oh man. Of course, the dirt sheets reported it. and we're going to, according to some brief spoilers, if you don't want to hear this, cover your ears or shy away right now. At Genesis next month, the Genesis pay-per-view, it will be Jordynne Grace one-on-one with the returning Tessa Blanchard. I know this is a very sensitive issue here. I know this is a controversial thing because of the way that Tessa had left TNA. I mean, when she was the World Heavyweight Champion, and a lot of drama that went down. And man, oh man, TNA, they're taking one hell of a gamble on this. I mean, the girl's got a lot of baggage. We all know that. So, oh boy. And now they're obviously going to be they're asking Jordynne Grace to give her an exit to put her over but just before Jordan leaves, because it's obvious Jordynne Grace is going to WWE, but MF, I mean, Tessa Blanchard back in TNA. Oh boy, business has picked up in the women's division.
And not only that, but Tessa actually came out and has denied that she is officially signed with TNA. So it's not just that this might be a pay for play more than anything else, because she is considered a free agent according to Tessa. Because everybody was wondering, they're like, oh, have you signed with TNA? And she's like, no, I'm not officially with TNA. I am working with them, but I'm not officially signed with them. So she's technically a free agent right now. She could go to any company in the world right now, but she's doing what Kota Ibushi did for New Japan. He never officially signed with New Japan, but he always appeared on the shows because if you pay him, he'll show up. It looks like Tessa Blanchard is doing that route, is that wherever she goes, if you pay me, I'll be there. She's open up for business, folks. Anybody can claim her right now.
Let the games begin.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, as far as the that match goes and the rumor, Jordynne Grace's contract is running out very soon, and they said that as early as possibly by I guess at the end of the month, her contract with TNA will be officially done. And in all attempted purposes, the next time we may see the Juggernaut, maybe at the Royal Rumble, but this time as a permanent member of WWE.
Jordynne Grace goes to WWE. Business picks up in the women's division over there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. And then it'll be interesting to see which brand she ends up on. Does she go to Raw or does she go to SmackDown? But
yeah,
we're both respectfully hoping for it. I mean, me personally, I'm hoping to see her in Raw Red just as much as MF wants to see her in SmackDown Blue. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all goes down. But yes, that match ended in a no contest. And at Genesis next month, we will have Jordynne Grace squaring off against Tessa Blanchard. What a match that's going to be. All right. This was the big one. The Fatal 4-Way. #1 contenders match. The winner of this match will challenge for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at the Genesis pay-per-view next month. Steve Maclin versus Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander versus Joe Hendry, and the winner of the match in 18 minutes and 21 seconds, and the number one contender for the and will challenge for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at the Genesis pay-per-view next month is Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry wins the match. The classic case of will the third time be the charm for Joe Hendry after the two biggest matches of his career. Back in July, of course, Slammiversary, that six-pack elimination match where we all thought he was going to win the title. No, he got derailed by Josh Alexander when they turned him heel. And then, of course, Bound for Glory in October. We most certainly thought that Joe Hendry was going to finally get the moment. But again, he got screwed this time by John Bradshaw Layfield, in a clothesline from hell. And now Joe Hendry's got the golden ticket. He's going to Genesis, where he gets yet another chance to finally realize his dream and become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Will the third time be the charm? I certainly hope so. I know Bullock certainly hopes so. And all who believe in Joe Hendry certainly hope so. So I had a little bit of a doubt because, I thought with Mike Santana, with how much fire he had been catching as of late, I thought maybe there was a slight chance he was going to go over. But no, Joe Hendry gets the golden ticket one more time, and I am hopeful that come next month that Joe Hendry will finally get his moment. So we'll see what happens with that. Falls Count Anywhere match for the TNA Knockouts Championship. The champion, Masha Slamovich, defending against the challenger and former Knockouts champion in her own right, Tasha Steelz. Like I said, this was under Falls Count Anywhere rules. And the winner of the match, 12 minutes and 34 seconds. And still the TNA Knockouts champion, it is Masha Slamovich. Another special stipulation for our next title match. TNA World Tag Team Championships on the line in a tables match. The champions, Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys, defending against the challengers and former champions, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards of the System. Winners of the match, 16 minutes and 50 seconds. And still the TNA World Tag Team Champions, it is Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys. They retain the titles. And then the main event of the evening, TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion, Nick Nemeth, defending the title against AJ Francis. Winner of the match, 15 minutes and 13 seconds. And to the surprise of absolutely none of us, the winner and still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, it is the wanted man, Nick Nemeth. And we have our main event for Genesis. We're going to run it back one more time. Nick Nemeth, Joe Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Man, oh man, what a match that's going to be in Dallas. That's all I'm going to say on that. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you on Wednesday night. No, it's not Wednesday Night Madness. Don't get excited. What we're going to do on Wednesday night is we're going to have ourselves a special edition of TXN Sports World, and we're going to call this TXN Sports World Football Wednesday. We are going to preview the Thursday night football game between the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. And we are also going to preview the first round of the college football playoffs. Indiana versus Notre Dame, SMU versus Penn State, Clemson versus Texas, and Tennessee versus Ohio State. We'll get into all of that on Wednesday night. Friday night, TXN Sports World NFL Friday, Week 16 edition. We will recap the Broncos and the Chargers, and we will preview the remaining games of week number 16. We got quite a few good ones, folks. The Houston Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. And we also have, just to name a few, we got also the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. And and some other good games that we're going to get into. We'll get into all of that on Friday night. Saturday night on MF's channel, Bracefan 95, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. And then 1 week from tonight, Ridiculously Raw. And we got another special thing we're going to do next week. Yes, we're going to review Monday Night Raw. But in place of the Tony's Take, because TNA is going to be, for the next 2 weeks, TNA is going to do best of shows. So I'm not going to do a Tony's Take for the next 2 weeks. For next week, we're going to do something a little different here. We're going to preview the Christmas Day football games between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. And in addition to that, we'll also preview the Thursday night football game for next week between the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. So we're going to get into all of that. It's going to be I guess we could call it a bit of a crossover. Part Talking Wrestling TXN, part TXN Sports World. So that'll be next Monday night right here on this program. So we got some other exciting future content for you, including our year in review shows. MF and I are going to have a little chat about that as soon as we're done here. And then we'll set the table for that when we plug the future content on Wednesday. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for the special TXN Sports World Football Wednesday show, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the phenom Michael Bullock, and always and forever our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Didi Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for the special TXN Sports World Football Wednesday, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.